Remember, beloved friends, in these times of awakening, you are not broken, you are activating.
Good morning, my beautiful friends. Good morning, beautiful rainy morning. It's one of those mornings, those days, when the earth seems to whisper instead of speak. I speak to you this morning as it's raining, as it's still and quiet, as the earth seems to whisper. My name is Paula. I am an aquamarine water dragon, speaking to you today on this beautiful rainy morning. My dragon's name is Crystal, and she is here as well, as she often visits in the stillness of rainy mornings. And my pen name is P.B. Moreland. I am the author of 4 books in the Whitebird series, fantasy fiction series, fantasy nonfiction, really. And if you would like to investigate and explore my books, visit the channel page, my YouTube channel page, and in the description there are links that will take you outside the YouTube space and introduce you to my books. And so the stillness of the pause in between. Because today I woke up with no real clear intention or message or direction. And then I realized that's the message. So today I want to talk about the sacredness of the pause, in between. That mysterious place where something is ending and something else has not yet begun. Have you ever felt like you're floating between chapters? Not who you were, and not yet know who you're becoming. My question is to you. Please respond in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel as I am growing this sacred space, inviting those in to join us in these conversations, heart to heart, soul to soul. Don't forget to hit the like button and to share with anyone that you so choose. And I invite you with that question, because there's a temptation sometimes to rush into and out of this space and to demand clarity. But what if this space is intelligent? As I've said, my dragon often visits with me in this space. My dragon is always with me, but I tend to listen to her more clearly, more vividly, more with my imagination. Listen, the pause between worlds, that in-between mysterious place. And if you feel that you have visited this place often, you are not alone, and it is very appropriate. We are in between worlds. We're moving from one age into another. We're in the age of the golden age, the age of peace and enlightenment, although, as I've said, doesn't feel like that. So take advantage of these quiet, rainy mornings where the earth whispers in stillness and softness. And lately, I have found myself here too, quite often, in the quiet, in the not knowing. But instead of trying to get out of it, I've started listening to it. And has my dragon, my crystal, who I am forming a very deep bond with, deep relationship with. She's my wise self, as is my inner child. who I have referred to in other videos. And in these quiet, still moments where the earth is whispering, and you are learning and you have learned to quiet, to be quiet, to sit in the stillness. And it's something is shifting within, not just outside. I know something has been shifting within. I feel it. I feel my body more attunely. I listen to her. She knows exactly what I need. And I say her because my body is an intelligent being. It's not just bones and blood and flesh. There is the DNA that runs through her. All the hundreds of strands, not just 12, I think is what we're told. She's extremely intelligent. My body is. I have formed a deep relationship with her. And in the stillness, in the in-between worlds, she whispers to me what I need, and I listen. Do you ever feel that your body is whispering to you what you might need? If you listen, if you feel those nudges, if you have an injury, I've experienced many injuries because of the nature of what I do day to day, lifting very heavy bags, moving heavy pieces. Sometimes my body reacts. Sometimes I can just come up with an injury out of the blue. And I say injury because I won't be specific, but I've had shoulder injuries and neck situations where all of a sudden it just doesn't move right. And instead of running to the doctor, which I don't do, not promoting any way of you to behave in that manner, but that's the last avenue that I pursue, especially if it's not like a severed finger. That's pretty dramatic, but that's when I would go to the doctor. I tend to listen to my body first, ask her what it is that she's trying to tell me. I do shadow work, oftentimes when my body is reacting to internal influences, emotional trauma, nervous trauma. My nervous system has been activated. It exhibits in a way of an injury, a sore back, sore knees, feet, ankles, neck, shoulders. It's my body's way of telling me to stop and listen and take care of these things, these shadows within that need to be acknowledged and healed. And I do this in the stillness, in the in-between, where the worlds are quietly meeting. And this space is sometimes uncomfortable. For many, do not really appreciate the value of being alone with themselves, with their own voice in the stillness. But this space holds power. It holds integration, rest, realignment. It's like when the rain falls, everything seems still beneath the soil. Roots are drinking, seeds are softening. They can say, or some do say, that our bodies are much like the planet. Our bodies are made out of 75% water, and so is the planet. We are highly attuned to each other. As you know, in science, we learn that we inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. Planet inhales, and all of the carbon-based plant life inhales the carbon dioxide and exhales oxygen. So we are in this beautiful rhythm with the planet, animals and the humans. We need each other. We would not exist without each other. And the earth knows this. Thousands of years ago, I was known to my tribe as the Earth Whisperer. My name was Sarayan. And I say this to you now because I have just reawakened this aspect of me. I've always had an innate attachment with Earth, with the stars, everything in between. And I wasn't yet fully aware of this being I once was who walked this planet right on the land that I live on now. Same location, there's a sacred node. The sacred node called to me, which is the voice of Gaia. And I am here. I have always felt drawn to this place, this land. Very clean, very pure, very untarnished by industry, by trauma, by bloodshed. It's very clean, and it is my space, and I am here once again to clear areas as Sarayan, as the woman who tones. Oh, 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 oh. Heal. Sarayan toned for her tribe. She was called upon as one who could speak to the earth and the stars in times of drought, in times where her tribe felt threatened. And she knew how to do that with touching the earth, with the waters, with the sky and the stars. And she still does. I still do. When storms are approaching, and our earth, of course, needs storms because it's oftentimes how energy moves and how the earth is replenished with the rain. But sometimes these storms tend to become too severe, maybe for the land to handle. And some of these are manipulated by man. I have spoken to these storms and the wind, feeling as a shaman feels, and it's called grokking. There are tribes on our planet still who speak with the energies of nature when maybe more rain is needed or a storm is approaching and they want the winds to soften. That is possible. I have done this physically. Stood in my house while the tornado sirens are going off, put my hands in the air and created an arc space of quiet. It just felt natural to do that. And we were never hit by tornadoes. The winds did soften. Yesterday, I did this, but I toned as well because I had the memory return of me as Sarayan, toning, and the weather was coming towards us pretty severely, straight line winds, and I just went out and spoke to the wind, and I toned and I asked it just to soften. Doesn't need to be destructive. No need for that. Yes, the rains can move through and the winds can move through, as is appropriate, but in a gentle whisper, and the winds softened. And I chose not to be amazed, because I do remember how it is to whisper into the wind. And so when the earth quiets and I whisper, and I am in my gardens and I watch my flowers, I know that they are happy in the rain, as I am happy in the rain. And we too can remember that animals are happy in the rain. When the rain comes, their worlds pause. They find shelter. And at one point in our Earth's history, we as human beings were very in tune with the earth and with the animals. And in modern days, we have moved out of that. And much of it is appropriate, much of it. For as a human race, our lives were in greater peril. Our lifespans were shorter as a result of living within the elements without shelter and protection, oftentimes without the luxuries of electricity, gas-fueled furnaces. So there are so many wonderful things that we are being given in these modern ages, but we can put those together with how we lived close to the land, in the stillness, in the pause. The animals, when I am in the stillness and the pause, I make sure to listen to my guides. My guides are also in spirit animal form. In the 1980s, when I was fully awakened with these beautiful mystery schools that I attended here in Minnesota, I met a mountain lion, a cougar, as a power animal. And then I researched the qualities of the cougar, mountain lion, the puma. And then I was introduced to an eagle a few years later, the bald eagle. And then the grizzly bear. And the grizzly bear I encountered through a guided meditation helped remind me why I had a very innate fear of bears, even though I love bears. I think they're majestic and beautiful and so wise. I feared them. At one point in the history of me on this planet, I walked in a human form and I was mauled by a grizzly bear. It's extremely, extremely dramatic and traumatic. Excuse me. Hi. Excuse me for the phone call. That was my daughter. And we had a nice chit chat. Don't get to chit chat with her very much. So that was a real wonderful pause in the stillness. But I was talking about the grizzly bear. And I, through a guided meditation, was able to have a conversation with this bear and heal that wound, that traumatic wound of the startledness of having a bear come behind me and attack in a very, very harsh way, and realize that this bear and I had made an agreement that in a previous lifetime I had harmed the bear. And in order for me to understand how we need to honor each other, I agreed to have the bear harm me in a lifetime. That is often the case between lifetimes. Agreements are made. That helps our consciousness and our souls just grow and understand how we can dance together between human to human, animal to animal, animal to human. And when I do have these quiet moments with my spirit animals, I get messages in different ways, and especially with my dragon, who I sit with in the stillness in these beautiful times. And so I ask you this, my beautiful viewer, my friend, do you have a spirit animal? And if so, what do you feel your spirit animal is, for one, and what messages your spirit animal can bring you, two, and maybe how you can help understand yourself better by just knowing the qualities of spirit animals. Again, you can find in any YouTube channel or on the website, for you just have to Google spirit animals, or maybe wise teachers that you know in your lifetime. So in the stillness and the quiet on these rainy mornings, knowing that the animal kingdom is quietly replenishing themselves with the rain, you too can do that. And so today I'm not offering answers to any questions that I ask. I'm just here as a presence to remind you that being in the stillness, in the in-between, as the earth whisperer, as Sarayan, as Crystal, remember that all of us have different aspects. We are not just one voice. We are not just one personality. We have aspects who are still alive and thriving in the different dimensions. I feel Sarayan's footsteps on this land and her heartbeat. I use her strengths when I feel I need to talk to the weather that's coming through. And so on this rainy morning, it's just me and you and the in-between. And we can offer solace and love. And we can talk about how your spirit animal, maybe you would like to find a picture or representation of that spirit animal. And just to let you know that in my books, my protagonist, Crystal Blue, who I named for my dragon, and I did not know this at the time. In fact, when I first started writing my books in 1995, her name was Alex Faraday. And it was that name that she held for many years in my mind. Many of my characters, I changed their names as I evolved in consciousness. And then I don't remember how I was inspired, but I just knew that the blue in Crystal Blue, because I resonate with the blue energies, the blue stream, the blue light. All my books, Illuminating Crystal, Crystal Blue Sky, Little Blue Star, Blue Crystal Mountains, Blue Flames Rising. This was all an innate knowing of my dragon, presence of my dragon, who is a blue dragon, an aquamarine water dragon. I just love how that all just kind of rolled and fell together gently, organically. But I bring this up because Crystal, in the story, she has a group that I refer to as the soldiers, and you meet them in book 1. And a great transition happens with Crystal. I should say transformation, better word. And the soldiers have a great role to play in this. And the soldiers, each one is equated with an animal. The alignment, the hybridization of this is revealed in book 2, Crystal Blue Sky. But you do meet these characters in book 1. And so the spirit animal is very important, especially with these soldiers, because that animal then in turn, Crystal does encounter in all her visits in the different ancient lands that she travels to in the series. She is a shaman. She can walk between worlds. She understands the overlays of Earth and its many dimensions. So wherever her footsteps fall in these books, in this story, the Earth is healed. And as I wrote this, I was not aware of my connection with Sarayan and my dragon, but I felt them. They helped write the story. They helped weave the tales together. And as I mentioned in my last video, I stopped writing in 2015 because I had a shift in consciousness and my writing just did not mesh, did not flow with this new awareness that was blooming within me, blossoming. And so I put the story down, but the story is emerging again and it will be written with new voices. And I'm excited. And I take opportunities for these still times, these in between moments of my life to visit with you and to help you know that being in the stillness does not need to be uncomfortable. There's an intelligence. There's a life force that's breathing through stillness in the earth and how it whispers. So I'm not here today to provide answers, but just my presence here with you and the rain and the beauty and all that life offers us today. And so, my beloved friends, remember to play well together, to acknowledge those you pass with a nod and a smile. They need your acknowledgement. And may your breath remember the earth. And may your soul remember its sound. Until next time, I remain between worlds. Namaste. But before we end, after the namaste, I thought I would share with you a little taste of what this rain is giving me and my friends, the little video taken from outside my window. Have a great day.